They were really serious people that were taking the world seriously. When I heard that they were thinking about expanding their band, I jumped at the opportunity.
We made this decision that we were going to be a touring band. We were going to be able to throw our shit on any stage, anywhere, any day of the week, and at least win over a handful of people in the room.
Every song Mad Science ever played has sort of had this same basic theme to it, that, you know, things are bad now and they have to get better, which will get you heckled in a lot of places if you start talking about that stuff. But people are good, and together we can do anything.
Merci, thank you.
Okay, oh, there we go. See, that's good. 'Cause I'm here. We never considered not touring with Ezra. We were making a record. We were going to tour as much as we could. I was worried, but I felt really confident as well. I knew we could do it. We toured through North America and Europe. We went from 6 months to 9 months during that period. I've put it in such a safety deposit box and put it so far in the back of my head. It was incredibly difficult. For both of us, it was an incredibly difficult experience. It really was. It was pretty lonely and isolating, and there was not very much sleep. And I felt so on the outside of my band on that tour. I felt like a burden.
I just felt guilt and inadequacy on that tour, on the parenting front. I felt incapable of doing more.
We sort of got separated into these traditional roles very quickly. All I knew how to do was keep this baby happy. Ephraim needed to be out in the world, taking care of everything else. On the other hand, you know, we did it. We did it. You know, I look at the photos and it was incredible what we did. Ezra was learning how to stand and walk on the bus while it was moving.
You want me to write a dog? You want me to write a train? I'm gonna write you a train.
See, I can.
If it weren't for getting to know Jessica's family, I have no experience with good familial relationships. Even though I loved Ezra, I didn't know how to relate to him so much. I think I was emotionally absent almost all of the time.
We were both very unprepared for the enormity of having an infant.
I didn't get too freaked out when I was broke before, you know. Now I get super anxious. Any touring musician, your bank account's gonna go up and they get drained almost immediately, like anyone who's doing contract work. You know, the expenses of touring for us have gone through the roof. It's a lot more expensive for us to tour now. We have to bring a nanny. We have to tour in a tour bus, which we've never considered doing before we had a kid. I mean, you know, those are huge expenses. Most of my head now is consumed with this idea that I have to provide.
Daddy, only daddy. Dodo. Wee. Hey. Uncle Baba. Uncle Baba.
We've been together 6 or 7 years now, 7 years almost. This is the first time where we're not doing the same thing. And it's Godspeed, so there's like, you know, thousands of adoring fans every night. And I'm getting up and going to the Y play group, you know.
Baby cafe.
Yeah, and this is my life, and I know it's not forever, but
You're a wife.
so crazy.
You're at home and
Like
you're
I'm
a
a
wife.
home.
But I feel like it's gonna go
I'm a
by.
stay-at-home mom.
You're a stay-at-home mom. You really are. You're
If you look at it on paper, Ephraim's off working and bringing home the bacon. Jessica's at home with the baby, cooking and cleaning and.
Boo.
You want a book? This one?
Mom.
This one? This one?
Da.
Yeah?
Da.
That's water you put on the tray.
Da.
That's water you put on the tray. That's water in the book. You're smart.
yeah, it's totally three.
This is a collage I made for Ephraim's record. It's the first artwork I've done since Ezra was born. I think we might photograph it. I just want to make sure it doesn't look like ever it was in Photoshop. This record that Ephraim's making is very personal. I think it's pretty incredible that he's asked for a painting of him and Ezra on the cover.
I do too. When I started to paint it, I thought, okay, I have to be prepared that it might end up being too much.
Right,
Like
for
he
him.
might.
Yeah, he told me on the phone how much he loves it.
Okay, good.
What do you see?
Dodo. Mama.
We gotta go. He did something that he artistically wanted to do from something he had in his heart, like a poetic response to his son. He has the time, I guess, and the luxury of making like this beautiful
And the support.
and the support to make a piece of art about his son and fatherhood, and like it's beautiful. I mean, you get to have a lot of things, but you don't get to step back, I guess, from the situation of parenting and like respond to it.
Yeah. Don't you find that art about motherhood is, if there's like an aspect of like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't actually,
And
I'm
why?
maybe not interested in it.
I know. Isn't that
Yeah.
weird?
It's still, to this day, women's narratives are not considered as interesting, and like that's just all there is to it. But I think maybe there's something else, like there's the time aspect. Or that's what I'm realizing
But I
from
think
watching
that's
you
it.
is like,
There's the time.
it's
aspect.
the time. I just wish that I could be a father. Like, I don't think I want to be a mom.
Nadia's gonna take you for a walk.
Mama. Go, go.
But it's really, it's cold out. That's right, it's freezing out.
Hello.
We're going for a walk.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind that I wanted and want to have kids. I've always known that. But as I got older and as my life became about being in a rock band and being an artist and being an independent lady, I stepped away from wanting to have kids as soon as I could because I knew that once I did, it would mean that I would become this mother. There's this bizarre thing that you become a mother and you become like kind of grotesque, you know, even though everyone will say to you, it's so amazing what you're doing, it's so wonderful, you know, wow. But at the same time, you feel this kind of pulling away, like, holy shit, where did everybody go? Everything changed, you know? I started playing when I was 5 with the idea that it could be something serious in my life. It was forced upon me, and now, of course, I'm so grateful that it was. Growing up, it feels like anything is possible. And the moment that you become a mother, it stops feeling that way. All of a sudden, we become less, even though in our own tiny little worlds, we've become huge because we've become somebody's mother. I want so much to go back to what I was doing.
This one, she's going like this. And this one, he's going like this.
Oh.
And this one, she's going like this.
Oh.
This one's going like this.
I do it again.
All right.
I would give my right arm to have, like, 6 months at home.
This one, she's going like this.
The mother's job is so much harder than the father's job. And the gender balance gets totally knocked on its ass. You think you're doing a good job with that stuff, and then you have a kid, and all of a sudden you realize that you're totally lame with that stuff.
Look at that. Look at that camera.
In Ezra's first year,
Okay, don't drop it there anymore.
Godspeed started rehearsing full-time, like a day job.
and it was reaching this point where I felt like the cliche, I was coming home from practices, like, like I need a drink and like practically loosening my necktie. And then Jessica had been with Ezra the whole day. And we have to figure out something else other than me being on the road and you being at home, right? I don't want that.
can think of a couple of friends of mine, musicians who in the last few years have had kids and they don't do the music so much anymore. I think Ephraim and Jessica are showing that it's possible, but I don't know if their example is enough to inspire the courage for me to, I don't know how, personally, how I would fare in the same situation.
True some hearts are true.
So as Ezra's godfather, you are to be his spiritual advisor? Is that one of the,
I don't really know.
what's the job description of a godfather?
I see it as just someone who's a protector and someone who's there for him. And I think we're lucky to be in a band where most of us are really, really close and we're really good friends.
Most men don't share anything equally. You know, once money comes in, generally, most of the money goes to one or two people in the band. And that's a surefire way to earn a living in this business. You know, if you take more than your bandmates do, then you'll probably be okay. To me, that's dishonest.
We're committed to the idea of wealth redistribution, you know? The rich shouldn't be so rich and the poor shouldn't be so poor. So why would we replicate any of that class system in our own band dynamic, right?
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
We have to make a little money, but we live pretty simple lives. We're not extravagant. Success is being able to do what you love doing and not having to compromise. That I haven't had a job for the past 10 years is pretty much my success.
The sides of the
To keep the workflow going.
box, they're labeled for.
Let's try something. You guys want to stack these in order?
Why not just number them after they're folded?
We're like a neighborhood grocery store. We earn, you know, basically a lower middle class living. And I feel content with that if it could last.
If we don't finish, worst case scenario is we bring the boxes on the bus and at some point on the bus.
This idea that you could earn a wealthy living playing music is a recent innovation. For centuries, musicians were the lowest rung of the ladder. We're like the degenerates, the people who like played for pennies in the town square. We identify with that tradition. I feel like before that happened, when I would look at Mount Sion, I felt like Mount Sion was just sort of an orphaned band. We didn't feel much in common with anything contemporary, but at the same time, we weren't playing old-timey music either. And playing with Vec sort of opened up this idea that, fuck no, you know, like we're working within a tradition.
We write music that's like harder than what we can actually play. We just end up making these impossible songs, and then we sing them, even though we can't sing very well. I constantly feel like my position as a musician in the world is tenuous. Like, I constantly feel like I'm going to turn a corner and it will be gone. Why is it that there are so few women in their mid-30s and beyond in bands?
We're the veterans now. It's like,
I know.
it's like, we made it. It's the golden years now. Yeah. Or did we? I don't know. You know, it's.
Right now, I'm just thinking, okay, what's going to go in Ezra's suitcase? What's going to keep him occupied when he's bugging everybody else? Just thinking about him constantly and his well-being, and then how can I keep him feeling great so that everyone else can feel great? So I don't feel this guilt and responsibility of the fact of him. You know what I mean?
Fix it, Mommy.
No one would ever say this to me, but I do sometimes question, like, wouldn't it be easier for everybody if I just quit, you know? I feel that within me. Like, I don't feel that from anybody else. I feel that within me.
You can't even think about it. Like, you can't tour without your child. And our husbands would never be thinking about what to put in the arts and crafts package for the, for the bus. And I think that's like the heart of the matter. It's like, as a mother, you can't escape that. Now the band isn't my first priority. I have this child. My family is my first priority.
What if we break him? I don't think we're gonna break him.
We might break him.
We might break him a little bit.
We'll see what happens. I don't, you know, we'll see how it goes.
I think we both have the feeling, and Ephraim keeps reminding me of this, is that it would be so much easier not to do it. But if we don't do it, then, you know, we have to do it. Like, we just have to do it. We have to try.
We are the Saint-Martin Memorial Orchestra from Montreal, Quebec.
To get to the most places in the least amount of time, we're basically driving for a week straight. Not only drive at night, but we drive in the day too. Half the band just stays in bed, which I totally understand.
The hours you keep when you're on the road are exactly the worst hours to raise a kid. When we have to drive is the time when he should not be cooped up in a van. when we have to go to work is when we should be with him, getting him ready to go to bed. I mean, it's all topsy-turvy.
So many buses. 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 So many buses.
You want to ride for a bit, sweetheart? I'm getting tired.
I like to walk
Okay, babe.
like people does.
Everyone's okay. They're treating you well here. They're treating you okay. They're not ripping you off on drinks or, I don't know, searching you unnecessarily or anything. Does anyone else have a question? Does anyone else have... You fucking play music. What the fuck? Anyone else have a question?
Last year I was gone 9 months, you know? Like just so much. Having Tim on the road makes it like, oh, let's go on tour.
Hey, 1, 2. And then just pull out like.
And who knows, maybe I'll want to have kids someday. But Tim is not so excited about touring with kids. So we'd have to figure it out.
Let's go!
If you want to run, sweetie, you can run to me, okay? Run.
You can do it.
No toys for Christmas this year.
Beautiful hurt.
What shampoo do I use? I use your mother's shampoo. She gave it to me personally. If you come closer, I smell like your mother. Anyone else have a question?
When you earn most of your living playing music for drunk people where the bar is in the room, it's not really about you on any given night. It's about a lot of other things in the room, you know? As opposed to in a theater where everyone's seated and it's very hushed and very quiet.
We're all stuck with each other. We all of us stink. We all of us smell bad. We all of us make bad smells. We all of us make bad decisions. We all of us like say shitty things to people we love just because we feel hurt. But we're stuck with each other, yes?
There's nights where we just lose them within 5 minutes, you know? An audience that totally came there to be, you know, to watch the show and be quiet, and some nights we just lose them like that, and they just start talking amongst themselves, you know? I think it's the healthiest way for music to be presented. It's good to feel some sort of resistance when you're putting things into this world, you know? If there's no resistance, then it's a little too easy.
Stop. Come on back. Come on back. Just be gentle with the seats and the stands. Don't break anything. Everybody's gentle. Everything will be fine.
so I guess we don't play right around here, huh? I guess we don't play right around it. That's okay. We don't have to play right around it. What happened? You fell down right in there. You fell down right in there. Here, let's move away from it so we don't fall down right in there anymore, okay? Come. Say it one more time.
Gap is meat.
I don't know what that means. Say it again.
Yeah.
He's saying the gap.
Oh, the gap. You got stuck in the gap. Yeah, you did. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. It's easy to withdraw back into, it's never gonna work. It can't work. It can't work. Mommy a snack? Can you go with Amber and find Mommy a snack? You want a snack too? Okay, here's Sweetie. Here's Amber's hand. She's gonna find you a snack. Okay? Yeah, 2 snacks. How can it be possible to be the kind of parent I want to be and to be the kind of person who can continue to make some kind of living doing what I love? You know, is it selfish? Or is it the best thing you can do for your kid is showing them that you're doing what you love? And the days come when we know. Let me bring it up and see if it fits right now.
How's fatherhood? It's, you know, it's difficult, but it's great. Thank you for asking. He's on tour with us. He plays spittle mouth, gurgle face. He's pretty good at all those things.
So far, it's worth it. As long as it's okay with Ezra. If it starts seeming not okay with Ezra, then I'll have to rethink it.
Well, I guess having a child is the first thing in my life that, other than having a checking account, that's like easily relatable to most people in the world. I had a weird upbringing. Strange childhood, strange adolescence, difficult young adult, you know, incredibly poor for a few years. Being unemployed and being homeless and stealing food to eat, you know? Begging for change on the street, like all that stuff, you know? So having a kid makes it feel less like a weirdo.
This song is about throwing bricks through windows and love simultaneously. It's called Microphones in the Trees.
You ready for snack zone? I got us some strawberries.
Strawberries. Strawberries.
it's easy sometimes to lose perspective when you're on tour, you know? You just, doesn't really feel like real life after a few weeks. Ezra feels like real life.
Multi-fruit earlier, and that's I'm super happy to be awake at 5 in the morning talking to me, and I was like, maybe, do you want to talk to your parents? Are you worried? Are you know, he was totally less worried than me about anything, you know? He was so, in my bunk. He's bumpy, you know, it's just like, fuck, this is great. I can't believe we're on the road with this little jiggly guy, you know?
Look at that.
Like bench press? Okay, let's finish teeth up. What do you think? Okay, I'm gonna go, sweet pea. I'm just gonna go do the loading out, and then I can see you right after. Okay? You wanna go outside too? Sweetie, I know. It's gonna be short, I promise. It won't be hard today. I know, baby. Portland. If I didn't take some morning times, then Amber would never get time off, like on big driving days. That job is incredibly hard because you are working all the time. There are no days off. There's your pine cone.
It's another gloomy post-rock number.
The roles that we play in the band, they're very different.
It's still totally unequal on the road, and I think it always will be.
Like even not even just morning times, but just in general, being on tour, like the bulk of the parenting will fall on me.
I'm going to say no, circular rock.
Ephraim has, you know, a huge amount of mental strain to make the thing happen, make the show happen. We're both working very hard, but in very different ways.
I joined the band.
You joined the band?
Jessica, this quick.
But I think we are learning a language of how to make it feel like we're walking arm in arm as opposed to miles away from each other.
Bump it.
Because they're made out of like very good material, they're made to fall apart. It's the bare truth, and they're environmentally sound, and they're made in Canada. We could have gotten you a cheap Chinese T-shirt, but we didn't. We're fairly ambivalent about the whole T-shirt thing, but guess what? None of you all buy records anymore. I know some of you do. Sorry, none of you. Most of you all don't buy records anymore. Can I download a shirt? You can download the shirt, yeah.
Piracy. I think the most important records that I ever heard in my life were things that I taped on cassette from people who had more money than me. I think that's a lovely thing.
How do you make a living as an artist when everything is on the internet for free? I have no problem with people getting stuff for free. It's just people are getting rich, and it's not that people are actually providing content for the internet.
It's Apple that's getting rich. It's the telecom giants who are getting rich. It's Samsung that's getting rich. It's everybody but the people who are making stuff. years ago, we were earning twice to 3 times as much as we are right now. People stopped selling records, and all of a sudden, everyone decided to go on the road.
So there's a lot more competition out there.
If you live in any mid to large city in North America or Europe, it's a bounty. You know, like pretty much every other night of the week, there's an out-of-town band coming through that you could go see.
Because there's so much competition now, you're getting more and more screwed at the end of the night because they can get away with it. You know, it's like you're not a scarce resource anymore. A band that could fill that hall. There are tons of bands that could fill that hall. It feels like the last days of vaudeville out there.
Hey, 1, 2, check, 1, 2.
I'm super worried all the time. I mean, what else would I do? I mean, my resume right now would be as if I just got out of prison.
Hey,
It's right here. We can get our supper right here.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
That makes sense. That's different than being a destination in Montreal for her, because that would be a little bit like. I'm so proud of my whole band for being so great with him and easy with him. I feel so unbelievably, like, down on my knees lucky that I get to keep doing what I'm doing.
I really don't know if I can keep it going. I want to have some normalcy, you know? Just a little something, a little normalcy. I would love to have children, but I don't think that's going to happen for me, so I would love to have a dog. I can't even have a dog right now. Men are able to stick with it for longer because they are not having the children. And that's what I've seen. Yeah. I've seen it all across the board. When women, at least in the music that I'm playing, start their families, they have to take a step back. And the men go on tour and they do all these things. And they can have, 12 kids because they've got their wife or girlfriend or, what have you, the mother of their children, taking care of the basics. And for what I do, if I have children, I'd have to stop playing. I would actually have to get a job because for what I do, I can barely support myself. Sometimes I look at biographies of like famous opera singers and I've always looked up to women in rock because they're more. But you look at them and you realize, oh, she didn't have any children. She didn't have a family. I watched my mother try to raise 3 children almost by herself. And so to see that and go like, wow. And she never had time to do anything for herself and yet was able to be so selfless and giving. And that's what mothers do. And I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. I don't have it in me because the work takes so much. I give so much to the work. I know what it feels like to be loved by a mother, and it's so powerful, knowing what and understanding that not all children get that. And I'm still feeding off of that so many years, later. So it's just.
I'm gonna cry now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna cry too. Can we stop?
Yeah. Are you gonna have a nice sleep?
Have a bad sleep.
You're gonna have a bad sleep?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. Why are you gonna have a bad sleep?
Because I still kill things.
Sweet Pea, it's time to lie down. Okay?
Can you listen to Daddy?
I'm a cat.
You're a cat.
Yeah?
What sound does a cat make?
Meow, meow.
That's right.
Your dog.
Woof.
Cats don't like that sound.
Ezras don't like that sound either.
I a cat. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
You have to be 1,000% on the side of humanity once you have a kid. You're like rooting for the home team like you never had before. Which is a big adjustment. That's a heavy adjustment. For me, that was the hardest thing. Is having to like get rid of a lot of my own cynicism, you know? You have to be like, no, things have to change. Things have to get better because this little innocent creature has to grow up into a world that's better than the one he was born into.
All right, I'm gonna put night guard on. You ready? It is time.
Hi. The balloon in my bottom. Hi. Happy birthday, Kelly.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Terry.
Guys, cheers. I couldn't imagine a better birthday to here with you guys. Cheers.
You don't want to cheers.
Sunday. Ciao, ciao. One more cheers, buddy?
Dings.
Amber. Yay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Everybody in the bus.
That's right. It never happens. I don't want things to end. You know, now I want to bring Ezra everywhere and I want to go on tour with him. I just want to work. I just want to do it. I just want to do it while we can, because who knows how long we can do it.
Half my brain now what's occupied with the hustle, you know? I'm on the hustle all the time. I'm just always like, what's the next gig? You know, like when's the next tour?
Every other tour, our booker will come out and say, you know, if you raised your ticket price by $3, you'd make this much more on the tour, you know, and you know, we say, yeah, we know. It's obscene what people charge for shows these days. It's not right, especially when people have to work so hard for $50. It's never gonna be right.
Where's your band?
Oh, way over there.
Okay, go for it.
Call a piggy, call a piggy, call a piggy. I called a piggy.
I'm just looking for the plug.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the plug.
What are you looking for?
There used to be a part of my life where I did playing with other people and in other projects and for other people's records, and I really haven't gotten a phone call for that since Ezra was born.
Ez, is that my hairbrush?
No,
Is it your hairbrush?
it's boring. It's boring.
It's boring?
Yeah.
Why is it boring?
For Ezra, I want a sibling. I do think about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with Dave, actually, while we were on tour. He's sort of like, yeah, I could imagine. There's Ezra and there's another one. He could actually...
On tour?
Yeah.
I could imagine it too. I kind of understand why you want to prepare yourself for having to not be able to do it, but I also feel like maybe you shouldn't.
You might be doing the opposite?
I think you should be doing the opposite.
I can't imagine him not having somebody to make fun of his parents with, you know? Like, that's such a crucial aspect, you know?
Yeah.
Blow on it, okay?
We're gonna blow on it. I'm gonna blow on it.
Because it can help me feel better.
Ezra, here's some corn.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we gonna eat 2 cups on the corn?
Are we gonna eat 2 corn on the cobs?
Yeah.
Well, first you can eat 1, and then you eat the rest of your supper, and then you can eat another one.
Why?
Because that's how it works. There was a lot of people on the street that wouldn't normally be on the street protesting for the first time. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like a momentary glimpse of what it could be like when you can know your neighbors, when we all march together.
We've been going with Ezra to the park at the end of our street at 8 p.m. every night. I guess there's going to be a whole generation of kids raised in this ridiculous, neglected jewel of a town. Will have fuzzy memories about the month they got to go to the park that one summertime, when all the grown-ups were making noise with pot lids, and everyone was serious, but everyone was smiling too. There's so many teary moments in all of this. I'm crying all the time and smiling all the time. I know it's gonna end. I don't want it to end.
I find inspiration from activists, from people who work to challenge and change.
I actually think I was a member of the last generation that was promised a better future. And I think successive generations have been promised the opposite of that.
That last tour with Ezra went like a million times better and smoother than I was worried it would, and it made the whole thing seem more possible.
It's growing so quickly that it's different month by month. He did great 3 months ago. I don't know how he's gonna do 4 months from now.
But for me, now that he's an older kid, you know, who's able to express himself and say what he needs, and that's just gonna get more and better.
But that comes part and parcel with his opinions too, and he has fears. That's the biggest thing, you know? You know?
He does talk a lot about wanting to go on tour right now, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. He talks a lot about wanting to go to the doctor too, though.
If we have to figure out how to do it without him, then, I mean, we're about to try, and we're about to try an 8-night. He'll be on his own for 8 nights. I feel like right now that's definitely the maximum amount of days. Do you agree?
Yeah.
If we had to stop touring with him, but I don't want to do that. So.
But at the same time, we can't afford to tour with him as a reality, you know? We make a little bit of money, but not very much, because we have to pay for the nanny and we have to pay for the tour bus. I mean, the tension of all this is being amplified because there's a microphone and a camera in here.
Of course. Of course.
Of course I want to keep going. I just like, you know, it gets into bigger issues, you know? It just mostly gets into issues like, how do we keep getting by, you know? And I feel like most of that falls on me, you know? Most of that worry falls on me. But it definitely harshes my mellow in terms of like, oh, that's great. We did a tour with Ezra, it worked out great, you know? It's like, yeah, it worked out great. We made $1.5 grand each, you know? That's not a viable plan moving forward, you know?
Unless we allow for the grants that we didn't apply for 10 years as a band until we...
I want to be a band that pays its own way, you know? I don't want to take government money. On top of that, you can't count on it, you know? On top of that, there are bands who need it more, you know?
Okay.
I don't know them. That's why they need it more, you know? I don't think it's the role of government to subsidize a failing band, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's how I've always felt. I think it would be suicide to keep doing it as a full-time thing. Because even with the grants, it's not enough money, you know? So we're still the luckiest band in the world. I mean, we'll be fine.
There's a romantic part of me that thinks that it's worth it at whatever cost, you know? But I know that that's not very practical.
But there are other bands who share those. That's the point. We're just one of many, you know? Like, that's okay. If it all ended tomorrow, it'd be okay, you know? I mean, we're just another fucking band, you know? So...
Except on other days you say, we're the best band in the world.
Yeah, but every band's got to go through life thinking that, you know?
To keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a crash. I had to accept the realization that I can't pick up where I left off. Will is not enough to make this stuff happen.
You can go all by yourself.
Really?
I didn't
Remember we were playing, me, you, and Oscar? And I had to be the monster eating up the potatoes? So you could be a little bit sad when Mommy and Daddy go away?
No.
And then when they come back, do you have big, huge hugs for them? Eh? So when you are a grown-up, are you going to have to go to work sometimes? And what will your little boy do?
What? Going to be sad.
He's going to be sad. But then... I'm getting so tired.
Sleepwalking, sleep talking, lost ships sinking in a sea, afraid to fade your memories. Sleepwalking, sleep talking about you. Sleepwalking, sleep talking.
Maybe we'll be lucky enough to have more opportunities where we can tour for 1 week at 10 days at a time.
Yeah.
Where we can leave him with Mom, who's, oh my God, without her, where would we be?
Yeah.
So I'm planning on looking for work in September. Well, I guess that's really soon. Because that's where I'm at, because we're going to be, you know, Ezra and I are going to be home a lot. He'll be in daycare, you know, who knows if he'll ever be able to not have a job again after now.
Yeah.
Who knows? No, I didn't know I would be at this position at this age, but...
Like you thought you'd probably be in a career that made you money?
No, I don't know what I thought. Actually, I don't know what I thought. I don't know. I just sort of was just doing this band thing, and year after year, it kept being the thing enough.
Shoes on something.
It's not going to. Cats aren't dumb.
Yep. I'm so excited. There's a good amount of fans out there. They're gonna get really excited. I think we should do a couple Fliggle Wiggles.
Yeah. Do the Fliggle your breath and scream and no one hears until you touch your chest and take a breath.
It was really moving seeing you being in charge of them. It was
Oh, really?
Also the deal.
Like Ezra definitely has changed me in that I'm not shy around children anymore.
Yeah.
So.
He got hassled, but we were okay.
I feel guilty about my path I took as a mother. I kept touring. My husband at the time really, really encouraged me to keep touring. He didn't want me to ever resent. He didn't want me to give up what I was doing because I was already a touring musician before I had kids. In hindsight, I really wish that I had not kept touring. I say that to people sometimes and they say, well, you're crazy. You don't really wish that. Do you really wish that you had stopped music? And ultimately, I missed out on a lot of stuff and you can't really, I can't ever go back that way. I often feel like I'm a fraud because I feel like people have sort of looked up to me for advice or they see, I know that people probably go, okay, well, Julie DeWaron, she did have kids and she's still touring, she's doing it all, and so can I. It may look like an ideal situation, but I ruined my marriage and I lost custody of my children, and so yes, I have 3 amazing kids who love me and they know I'm their mom. And now I have to tour way more because I have all these other bills. If I'm not on the road, I don't have any money. My kids tell me over and over, you're always gonna be our mom, we understand that you're gone, but I constantly feel guilty about not being there. talking about this right now is making me feel amazing, and maybe I won't feel depressed for the next week.
That's great.
And I'm just realizing, like, maybe women should be getting, well, obviously women should be getting together way more often to talk about all this stuff.
You need so much help
Yeah.
to be able to continue to have creative output and to be a mother. You can't focus 100% on your art and also be a mother. I don't actually think that's humanly possible or physically possible. The degree to which privilege and circumstance play in us being able to do what we do. Childcare, access to healthcare, most people in the world don't have that. And it's only because of these things that I have this luxury to take a step back, to consider trying to be a mother and a creative person. I am overwhelmed by gratitude for that.
I don't live a healthy life, and I want to live a long time because I want to see my kid get older, you know? I mean, I live the life of a musician, and it's not a healthy life.
People die in their 50s and 60s just from staying on the road. That's a real thing. All I do is tour and rehearse and worry about money. In spite of all that, I love Ezra so much, I love Jessica so much. I like who I am more than I ever have, and I like being a father. All that matters to me now is that Ezra stays happy and that Jessica has as much time as she needs to figure out what she wants to do. Everything else is just noise.
I don't know if I can start something new. You know what I mean? To imagine starting something, like to conceive of beginning, is very daunting.
Like starting something artistically, we're in that now, we're doing it, so that's one thing. But you mean starting it like trying to get to a place where we can have shows that don't lose money?
It's not open to us to be a young band trying to make it. It's
No.
just, even if we tried, it's
also,
not a
like,
door that's open.
No part of this culture is like, older women artists, let's see what you got.
I know.
0, 0, 0.
Exactly.
Part of this culture.
All I want to do right now is play guitar, which has come from us being together.
I know, it's ruling. It's making me so happy.
It's been so fun. Everything in the world tells me it's bad to get old, but every single one of us is doing it, so how could that be bad? Oh my God!
I'm happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you.
Well, why are you closing your eyes?
When I really feel the music, I close my eyes.
La
No, I don't.
I have to set up for this.
Yes, you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good beat, Ezra.
What's next?
That's it. The end.